We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. Success is not a lottery ticket or a lightning strike. It's the compound effect of intentional, repeated actions. Habits are the invisible architecture of your life. What you do consistently determines where you'll end up. The following habits, when cultivated with discipline, can transform your trajectory. They're not quick fixes, but proven principles backed by the stories of those who've walked the path and practical steps to make them your own. Let's dive in. 1. Clarity of purpose. Success starts with a crystal clear vision of what you want to achieve. Without direction, effort is wasted. Clarity turns vague ambitions into executable plans, like a GPS guiding you through uncharted territory. Why it matters. A 2018 study by Harvard Business Review found that individuals with clearly defined goals were 10 times more likely to achieve them than those with vague aspirations. Clarity aligns your actions with your priorities, reducing distractions and indecision. Expanded example. Colonel Sanders didn't just want to sell chicken. He envisioned a global franchise built on his unique recipe. At 65, with only a social security check to his name, he drove across the US, pitching his idea to over 1,000 restaurants. His specific goal, franchising his recipe, kept him focused through rejection. Similarly, Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, didn't aim to make clothes. She targeted a gap in the market: comfortable, confidence-boosting shapewear. Her clarity led her to cut up pantyhose prototypes in her apartment, eventually building a billion-dollar brand. Common pitfall. Many people confuse activity with progress. Working hard without a clear goal is like running on a treadmill. You're moving, but not forward. Vague goals like "I want to be rich" lack the specificity to guide action. Deeper strategy. Use the SMART framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, to define goals. For example, instead of "I want to get fit," set a goal like "I will run a 5K in under 30 minutes by June 30th, training 4 days a week." Visualize your goal daily to reinforce commitment. Studies show visualization increases motivation by activating the brain's reward centers. Action steps. Write down one major goal for the next 12 months. Make it specific. For example, earn $10,000 in freelance income by December 2025. Break it into quarterly milestones. For example, secure 2 clients by March. Create a daily task aligned with the goal. For example, spend 30 minutes pitching clients. Review your goal every morning using a journal or app like Notion or Trello. Optional. Create a vision board with images representing your goal to reinforce clarity. 2. Discipline in the small things. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. It's not about grand gestures, but the quiet commitment to small, consistent actions, even when motivation wanes. Why it matters. Research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology shows that self-discipline is a stronger predictor of success than IQ. Small disciplined actions compound over time, creating exponential results. Expanded example. Michael Jordan's legendary work ethic wasn't just about big games. He spent hours perfecting free throws, even practicing in the dark to hone muscle memory. This discipline in the boring details made him unstoppable. Similarly, Tim Ferriss, author of The 4-Hour Workweek, structures his day with disciplined rituals: 10 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of exercise, and 2 hours of deep work. These small habits have fueled his ability to write bestsellers and build a media empire. Common pitfall. People overestimate what they can achieve in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year. Waiting for perfect moments to act leads to procrastination. Deeper strategy. Use the 2-minute rule. Start any habit with a version that takes 2 minutes. For example, write 1 sentence instead of write a chapter. This lowers resistance and builds momentum. Pair new habits with existing ones. For example, Do 10 push-ups after brushing teeth to leverage habit stacking, a technique backed by behavioral science. Action steps. Pick one small habit. For example, read 10 pages daily or walk 15 minutes. Commit to it for 30 days using a habit tracker like Habitica or a simple calendar. Set a cue. For example, place running shoes by your bed to trigger the habit. Reward yourself for consistency. For example, watch a favorite show after completing the habit. Reflect weekly. Are you sticking to it? If not, simplify the habit further. 3. Lifelong learning. In a rapidly changing world, stagnation is regression. Lifelong learning keeps you adaptable, innovative, and ahead of the curve. Why it matters. A 2021 World Economic Forum report predicted that 50% of all employees will need reskilling by 2025 due to technological advancements. Continuous learning ensures you stay relevant. Expanded example. Warren Buffett attributes his investment success to reading 500 pages daily, newspapers, annual reports, and books. This habit sharpens his decision-making. Elon Musk, with no formal aerospace training, learned rocket science by devouring textbooks and consulting experts. His self-education led to SpaceX's reusable rockets, disrupting an industry. Both show that knowledge compounds like interest. Common pitfall. Many assume learning ends with formal education. Others consume information passively without applying it, which yields no results. Deeper strategy. Adopt deliberate learning. Focus on skills directly tied to your goals. For example, learn SEO if you're starting a blog. Use the Feynman technique. Explain what you've learned in simple terms to solidify understanding. Curate your inputs. Follow experts on X. Subscribe to niche newsletters, or take targeted courses on platforms like Coursera or Masterclass. Action steps. Identify one skill or topic critical to your goal. For example, learn Python for data analysis. Dedicate 30 minutes daily to learning via books, podcasts, or videos. Apply what you learn immediately. For example, write a blog post after studying writing techniques. Teach someone else what you've learned to reinforce retention. Create a learning schedule to block time for study and review progress monthly. 4. Accountability. You're more likely to follow through when someone's watching. Accountability turns intentions into results by creating external pressure to act. Why it matters. A 2014 study by the American Society of Training and Development found that people are 65% more likely to achieve a goal if they commit to someone else. Accountability partners amplify commitment. Expanded example. Oprah Winfrey's success wasn't solo. She leaned on mentors like Maya Angelou and advisors who challenged her to refine her vision. Richard Branson, founder of Virgin Group, surrounds himself with a board of directors and mentors who hold him accountable to his ambitious goals, from airlines to space travel. Their feedback keeps him grounded and focused. Common pitfall. Relying solely on self-motivation often fails when life gets tough. Without external checks, it's easy to rationalize excuses. Deeper strategy. Build an accountability ecosystem. Join a mastermind group, hire a coach, or partner with a friend pursuing similar goals. Publicly declare your goals on X or a blog to raise the stakes. Social pressure works. Schedule regular check-ins to report progress and get feedback. Action steps. Find an accountability partner, for example, a colleague, friend, or mentor. Share one specific goal and agree to weekly progress updates. Use tools like Slack or WhatsApp to send quick reports. Post your goal publicly. For example, I'm writing a book by July 2025 to increase stakes. Celebrate milestones together to stay motivated. 5. Resilience in the face of failure. Failure is inevitable, but it's also a teacher. Resilience means treating setbacks as data, not defeat, and using them to pivot and improve. Why it matters. A 2019 study in Nature found that entrepreneurs who failed in their first venture were more likely to succeed in their second if they analyzed their mistakes. Resilience turns losses into lessons. Expanded example. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter was rejected 12 times, but she revised her manuscript and persisted, eventually creating a $25 billion franchise. Thomas Edison's 1,000-plus failed light bulb experiments weren't dead ends. He famously said, "I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His iterative mindset led to a world-changing invention. Common pitfall. Fear of failure paralyzes action, or people dwell on setbacks instead of learning from them. Both stall progress. Deeper strategy. Adopt a growth mindset as outlined by psychologist Carol Dweck. View challenges as opportunities to grow, not as reflections of your worth. Use the 5 whys technique to analyze failures. Ask, "Why did this happen?" 5 times to uncover root causes. Then create a plan to address them. Action steps. After a setback, write down what happened and why. For example, lost a client because my pitch wasn't clear. List 3 lessons learned. For example, practice pitches, research client needs, follow up faster. Take 1 actionable step to improve. For example, enroll in a public speaking course. Keep a failure journal to track patterns and solutions. Revisit past failures monthly to see how they've shaped your growth. 6. Environment of excellence. Your environment, people, places, and inputs shapes your mindset and outcomes. Surround yourself with those who elevate your standards. Why it matters. Social psychologist Jim Rohn's average of 5 rule suggests your habits and success mirror the 5 people you spend the most time with. A 2020 study in social networks confirmed that peer influence significantly impacts goal achievement. Expanded example. Steve Jobs deliberately hired A players at Apple, creating a culture of innovation that birthed the iPhone. Mark Zuckerberg's inner circle includes tech visionaries like Sheryl Sandberg, whose expertise helped scale Facebook. Their environments fostered excellence, not mediocrity. Common pitfall. Staying in toxic or uninspiring circles out of comfort drags you down. Negative peers reinforce limiting beliefs. Deeper strategy. Conduct a social audit. List the 5 people you spend the most time with and assess whether they inspire growth or complacency. Seek out communities aligned with your goals. Join X spaces for entrepreneurs. Attend industry conferences or network on LinkedIn. Curate your digital environment too. Unfollow accounts that distract and follow those that educate. Action steps. List your 5 closest contacts and rate their influence, positive, neutral, negative. Spend 90% of your time with people who challenge you. For example, join a local business group. Attend 1 event or webinar monthly to meet high achievers. Curate your X feed to follow 10 accounts in your field. Create a social calendar to plan intentional interactions. 7. Gratitude in the grind. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's possible. It builds mental resilience and fuels persistence through challenges. Why it matters. A 2017 study in psychological science found that gratitude increases well-being and motivation, reducing burnout. Grateful people are more likely to stick to long-term goals. Expanded example. Oprah Winfrey's gratitude journal, where she writes daily wins and blessings, kept her grounded while building OWN. Tony Robbins starts each day with a gratitude exercise, listing 3 things he's thankful for, which primes him for optimism and action. Common pitfall. In the pursuit of goals, people fixate on gaps. "I'm not there yet," which breeds frustration and demotivation. Deeper strategy. Practice structured gratitude. Write specific, detailed entries. For example, "I'm grateful for my mentor's feedback because it clarified my next step." Pair gratitude with priming. Before a tough task, reflect on past successes to boost confidence. Use gratitude to reframe setbacks. For example, "I'm thankful for this rejection because it taught me to refine my pitch." Action steps. Write 3 things you're grateful for each morning. For example, my health, a supportive friend, yesterday's progress. Use a gratitude journal or app like Day One to track entries. Before a challenging task, list one past win to boost confidence. Share gratitude with someone weekly. For example, thank a colleague for their help. Review your journal monthly to see how gratitude shapes your mindset. 8. Proactivity over reactivity. Proactive people shape their futures. Reactive people are shaped by circumstances. Taking initiative creates opportunities before they're handed to you. Why it matters. A 2016 study in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that proactive employees were 25% more likely to achieve career success due to their ability to anticipate and act. Expanded example. Ray Kroc didn't wait for McDonald's to come to him. He saw potential in a small burger stand and built systems to scale it globally. Jeff Bezos proactively invested in AI and cloud computing, positioning Amazon as a tech giant long before competitors caught up. Common pitfall. Waiting for the right time or external validation leads to missed opportunities. Reactivity keeps you on the defensive. Deeper strategy. Use the Eisenhower matrix to prioritize proactive tasks. Important, not urgent, over reactive ones. Urgent, not important. Schedule deep work blocks to focus on high-impact projects. Anticipate challenges by creating contingency plans. For example, if a client says no, I'll follow up with a revised proposal. Action steps. Each morning, list your top 3 priorities for the day. Block 60 minutes for a proactive task. For example, outline a new project. Use a priority matrix to sort tasks by importance and urgency. Anticipate one potential obstacle weekly and plan a solution. Review your week. Were you proactive or reactive? Adjust accordingly. 9. Time investment. Time is your most valuable asset. Investing it wisely in high-impact activities maximizes your results and minimizes wasted effort. Why it matters. The Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, shows that 20% of your actions drive 80% of your outcomes. A 2022 productivity study found that focusing on high-value tasks increases output by 30%. Expanded example. Warren Buffett uses the 80-20 rule to focus on investments with outsized returns, ignoring distractions. Gary Vaynerchuk prioritizes content creation and relationship building, delegating low-impact tasks to his team, which has grown his brand to millions of followers. Common pitfall. Busyness masquerades as productivity. Social media, emails, and low-value tasks eat time that could be spent on needle-moving activities. Deeper strategy. Conduct a time audit to identify where your hours go. Use tools like Toggle or Rescue Time to track activities. Delegate or eliminate tasks that don't align with your goals. Protect your golden hours, the time of day you're most focused, for creative or strategic work. Action steps. Track your time for 7 days using a time tracker. Identify your top 20% of tasks that drive 80% of results. For example, client meetings. Eliminate one time waster. For example, cut social media scrolling by 30 minutes. Block 2 hours daily for high-impact work during your peak energy time. Review your time log weekly to optimize further. 10. Service to others. True success amplifies impact beyond yourself. Serving others builds trust, legacy, and unexpected opportunities. Why it matters. A 2020 study in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that acts of service increase life satisfaction and social connection, which correlate with long-term success. Expanded example. Andrew Carnegie funded 2,500 libraries, democratizing knowledge and leaving a legacy beyond his steel empire. Bill Gates's Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has saved millions of lives by tackling global health challenges, proving that service scales impact. Common pitfall. Focusing solely on personal gain creates shallow success. Selfishness limits influence and fulfillment. Deeper strategy. Adopt a service mindset. Identify how your skills can solve others' problems. For example, mentor a junior colleague, share expertise on X. Use the 1% rule. Dedicate 1% of your time or income to helping others. Small acts compound into significant impact. Action steps. Perform one act of service daily. For example, answer a question on X, help a neighbor. Use a service journal to track your contributions and their impact. Volunteer 1 hour monthly for a cause you care about. Share one piece of knowledge weekly. For example, write a LinkedIn post with tips. Reflect monthly. How has serving others enriched your life? Final challenge. Success is built one habit at a time. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. Start with one habit this week. Commit to it with unrelenting focus. Once it's ingrained, add another. Over time, these small choices will compound into extraordinary results. Why start small? A 2019 study in behavior research and therapy found that starting with micro habits increases adherence by 60% compared to tackling big changes. Momentum builds confidence. How to stay consistent? Use the Seinfeld strategy. Mark a calendar with an X each day you complete your habit. Don't break the chain. Share your journey on X to inspire others and stay accountable. Mindset shift. You don't need talent or luck, just relentless consistency. As James Clear writes in Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Take action now. Choose one habit from this list. For example, write 3 gratitude entries daily. Write a commitment statement. I will habit for 30 days starting today. Tell a friend to lock in accountability. Track progress daily with a habit tracker or calendar. Celebrate 7 days of consistency with a small reward. For example, a favorite treat. The world doesn't care about your intentions. It rewards your actions. Begin today. One habit, one step. Repeat. Your future self is watching.